in a while. We can't help it, it's just our style. Good old boys is all we'll ever be. I got an animal that's 6 weeks overdue. I got caught with a truck full of bootleg out-of-state booze. Knocked my wife's diamond ring last June. Bought me an outboard Ebbing Root. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm about the things we do, all the trouble that we get into. Other than a wild hair once in a while, we can't help it, it's just our style. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent with you here on a Friday morning. Glad you're all here. Thanks for joining us this morning. Glad to see you all here on Facebook, YouTubes. Those of you checking in on Roku. Those of you on Magic.
5.9.
The Magic app, tuning in from the West Coast. Appreciate you.
That was really a nice, shot in the arm. Very excited to have those folks check in.
Yeah, now we got to step up our A game every day.
Well, you have to slow it down a little bit for folks out in like California, and
not these folks. These are the ones that get.
These are the sharp ones.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are trying to get out. They're shopping real estate.
It's the idiots on the left that out there that continually misspin stories, and
we've got a couple of idiots on the left here too. So if you come into Texas, you'll feel at home. We can introduce you to a couple of our own resident idiots. We've got a few
who believe illegals haven't broken the law.
Right. Or that they are hiding and they're just trying to get health care.
Yeah.
Guy in, where was it? California,
Orange County.
He was running from ICE and he ran into a clinic.
But the story originally was that ICE arrested him at his doctor's visit at the doctor's office.
Doctor's appointment, but he wasn't. He just ran into the closest building. It happened to be a, Kelsey Siebold clinic.
And the doctors and staff there actually tried to protect the illegal from ICE.
Then we have idiots here in town, right here in our own town, here in Muddy River City, that are trying to me, it's obstruction of justice. They're aiding and abetting illegals when they're like going, hey, here's an app where you can check and see where ICE agents are. You're obstructing law.
And their whole justification is, well, people are pretending to be ICE to rob people. People are pretending to be a lot of people to rob people.
Right.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, ICE agents are hiding their faces.
Crazy.
Well, you know what? They might be working undercover. Just like when DEA goes in and they've got their faces covered. Nobody complains about that. Oh, because we're getting drugs off the streets. Well, you know what? ICE is getting illegals off the streets too.
That's right. And it is the law. It is the law. You don't like it, change the law, but it is the law. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Dairy Feed, inviting you to come down this weekend. Go down there Saturday morning and see all the wonderful things they've got, from Baffin to chicken feed to fertilizer to everything.
Jackie says people are coming in droves to get bug supplies or bug anti-pest products, and they've got them, so have no fear. Get in there and get it all at Deerland Feed.
It's going to be cloudy all day. 77 degrees in Victoria right now, a high of 93.
Nice.
So we're going to have an interesting conversation this morning. We're going to call a guy that we know, a guy who's in Corpus,
this one.
And our own Junior's going to come in, and
we might have to front him up with it by his real name
Robert
today,
Chris
just to give him some credibility on this
talk
subject.
Some biology.
Yeah. Stephanie Connie, Greg Garcia, Ricky King on the podium this morning. Wendy Garcia. Good morning, Marina. Judge Posey. Will Vincent. Scott Tomko, Andrew Alvarez, Bobby Leister. We fixed that. Emily Castrohone. Good morning. Monty Howard, Lisa Poole.
Why did
Will Vincent? Because I forgot to push that button over there because you weren't standing there this morning. So
There's Linda Chris, Scott Snow, Patrick Strauss, Sherry Jacobs,
Happy Strauss.
Janie Rivera Gonzalez, Justin Glass, the Iceman back in. Good to see you, Mr. Switalski, Michelle Wilson Hawkins.
Big weekend for the Astros. Pete Strauss reminds me of the First State Bank of Louise Astros update. Astros on the road to play the Seattle Mariners in Seattle. And big series, as you know, the Astros leading the division by what, 5.5?
I think 5.5, somewhere in there.
Playing great baseball. Yeah. And
they were playing great baseball up until the week before the All-Star break.
But you know what? Over the last 10, they've gone 4-6.
Yeah.
But
when you went 8-2 and 7-3 over your last 2-10 stretches,
sure.
And that's the problem. That is the problem. Anybody feel sorry for Stephen Colbert? This is a guy that has destroyed what was a franchise left to him to just not fumble the ball by David Letterman.
Yeah. It is interesting to me that when Letterman and Leno were at their peaks, they pulled like I think Letterman was doing like 12 million people a night, and Leno was like at 8.
And they still didn't pull half of what Johnny Carson
used to pull over 20 million a night.
But then again,
there was
3 networks. Fox wasn't even around yet, and cable hadn't expanded into the gazillion channels that were around when Letterman and Leno. So there were more options late at night. But they did have to compete against HBO.
Were you a Letterman guy or a Leno guy?
I like Letterman.
So I did too.
Before he went, I actually liked Letterman when he was on NBC after Johnny. But what people don't realize, though, is the David Letterman show, as unscripted as it appeared to be, was the most scripted.
He was very anal. Yes, David Letterman was very, very meticulously involved in every word that was uttered on his program, much like us.
But CBS, Paramount, whichever, said that they are canceling the most watched show in late night, saying it's a purely financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. And it will end when Mr. Colbert's contract expires. So they're not canceling it immediately. My guess is they don't want to pay him what they're probably going to have to pay him for the next contract, and they might find somebody who will do it for less.
What does it say? We're available.
We're available. CBS.
What does it say? Our admiration, affection, and respect for the talents of Stephen Colbert and his incredible team made this agonizing decision even more difficult. They're all about their feelings.
I've not watched him since he left the Colbert Report.
I've never watched him. Is he the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Very leftist.
Yeah. He called the $16 million settlement in the lawsuit that Paramount paid to President Trump for the 60 Minutes slander a big fat bribe, and I think he thinks that's what. There are folks in the industry saying that they think that's what probably caused him to.
He's a very smart guy. You can tell he's a very smart guy. And it probably was a bribe. Why would Paramount pay the president $16 million? Trying to pay off his legal fees.
Probably because their lawyers were.
Yeah. Sure.
Let's see. Advertising data firm says late night advertising dollars have dropped 50% in the 7 years since he took over.
Wow. From 439 million to 220 million.
Yeah. That's industry wide. That's across all late shows, but still, if that's a 50% drop at CBS,
crazy. Wait, what is said? Elizabeth Warren said something that's interesting. Likewise, Senator Elizabeth Warren said CBS canceled Colbert's show just 3 days after Colbert called out CBS owner Paramount for its $16 million settlement with Trump, a deal that looks bribery. America deserves to know if his show was canceled for political reasons.
You know what's funny? The left had no problem when they were canceling people for things they would say.
Is Elizabeth Warren just stupid? I mean, I think she's like really dumb.
No, she's gotten that way. Adam Schiff, mad. if pulling the show for political reasons, the public deserves to know. Remember when these same folks were calling for right-leaning people to be canceled for things they said and had no problem when lives were destroyed?
Right.
And businesses were boycotted. The left only cares when it affects them.
Andrew says, I believe it also has to do with the amount of money it takes to run his show versus the return on investment. That compared to productions like you guys, that you actually have a pretty dang good show for a low cost budget, and guys like me to have a show essentially in a bedroom. Is Andrew doing like live porn now?
Cigar night with Andrew. Cigar to
pay
hour.
per view. I mean, what? I'm a little concerned.
Only fan. Linda Chris says happy he's gone. He was never funny. I disagree. I thought he was funny. Funky Trey Molina in. Good morning, Michelle Wilson Hawkins. Let's see anybody
Seeing
else.
Trey, and we're about to have a gentleman we're going to call in a minute named Parker Holt. He's a guy who was at the Corpus Christi City Council meeting. I just got a note from Chad Pedrick, guide extraordinaire down at Baffin Bay that is fishing this morning. But we're going to talk to Parker, who's a fisherman and a
Jackie Parsons,
Corpus resident. We're going to find out what's going on. This desalinization plant is
starting to
get
a little traction.
And I don't know if it's something that's going to happen, if it's like happening, or if it's, we're going to find out. We're going to talk and find out what the deal is. Yeah.
Andrew Alvarez has the Latino Conservative podcast as featured on Fox and Friends.
There you go.
LOL. I don't know if he's being serious or not.
I don't know yet. Andrew's a gamer. You don't know what he's doing.
Greg Garcia says network's probably tired of Colbert losing to Greg Gutfeld every night. Probably true. There's probably some truth to that. Gutfeld. Pocahontas needs to shush her mouth.
Pocahontas.
Let's go to the other. Let's go to the other.
This is
idiot.
Scary.
Yeah,
you know, we have that deal where we say anybody but Trump, anybody but a Republican. The Democrats are all goo goo gaga over this Zoran Mondani, who's running for mayor of New York City. He's a huge, like an openly socialist.
Oh, he's pretty much
communist guy. Okay, play him.
Yeah, listen to this, folks.
My platform is that every single person should have housing. And I think faced with these two options, the system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused, right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that people try and play like each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on.
The abolition of private property.
And I think that people try and play like gotcha games about these kinds of things. And it's like, look, I care more about whether somebody has a home.
Oh, yeah. Everybody should have a home. I mean, the abolition of private property.
It's out there. And the media tried to spin this. Oh, they went back and found a tape of him. No, he says my platform. The guy's running for mayor of New York City. He doesn't have a platform unless he's running for something.
Yeah.
So don't play this BS garbage in the media. Oh, they went and dug an old video out. No. My platform. Mayor.
So
what's he going to do?
Everybody should have a home. Well, so do we. Everybody should have a home. And yeah, Andrew, that's right. Socialist communism. The left says vote blue, no matter who.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And once again, this is the left floundering. They've got nobody. They've got nothing.
No, but you know what? This guy will be the mayor of New York. They're limited to 2 terms, and you watch.
He's too interesting not to elect, right? They will elect him because he's interesting.
New York is full of idiot voters. They have been and it's been getting progressively worse.
But after Barack, he might be president.
That's where they're going to go with this guy. That's where I was going with this. They are gearing him up because They can put him
Bernie
on.
Sanders endorsed him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the leftist oligarch from Vermont, Bunny.
Well, you know what's funny with these guys is they sit there and they tell you, well, these oligarchs used to be the communists in charge in Ukraine and Russia.
That's right.
They were in a position of power and influence and favor, and they were given the oil and gas sectors and companies to go and make their billions of dollars.
Putin did that.
The farming, the industry, the machination of things in these countries. They used to be the communists in charge. And when the countries broke up, the ruling leaders gave them these industries. They weren't capitalists.
Right.
But now they're the bad guys. No, they've always been the bad guys. They were the communists before they became the oligarchs when they were given everything in the breakup of the communist countries that were the former Soviet Union.
No doubt. And Junior jokingly says, the rest of the state of New York wants to build a wall around the big cities. But the truth is, New York State a lot of New York is rural and pretty and normal.
Except you've got 8 million people in New York City. And as New York City goes, New York State goes.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Scott Tomko adds, he said in an interview that he quit working in January and wasn't worried about money because his parents would support him.
Have you noticed something else with the socialists and those that are clamoring for socialism? They're all rich.
They are, yeah.
And yet none of their own money goes to help anybody.
That's right. Why are you right so often? Correct.
Data.
Why are you correct?
Data.
It's a little frustrating, Cody. I mean,
Data.
He's correct.
It's a burden. Somebody has to carry it.
Quite often.
I just use facts and figures to back up my points and my platforms.
Your prognostications.
He
used the word proclivity yesterday.
I mean, the most benevolent people in this country are Republicans. I mean, like 90% of all private giving, charitable giving, is made by Republicans. I think the last time I saw the numbers.
Wow. Let's take a break. Robert, get in here. We just summon people.
Yeah, we summon them.
Next Thursday, Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. You'll get to see Robert Crest, irresponsible, immature,
the only,
childish, annoying. At his very best, he'll be there, no doubt. He and his lovely bride, Linda, easily the most tolerant lady on the planet.
Hey, producer boy, did you make sure that camera's where it needs to be?
It took me a while. I learned that I had to deal with Linda with
sarcasm and wit.
I had to deal with Linda with sign language because she's deaf. That's how she puts up with Robert. USA Concrete Coatings 578 home. Call Charlie Garcia and his team. They'll come out and give you a quote to sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it, whatever you want done. USA Concrete Coatings is your home for all types of concrete work. Veracruz Restaurant.
We don't get calls. You don't need to listen to those.
Chicken Fried Friday. He's going to need to listen to Parker Holt, though.
That's true.
Chicken Fried Friday. If you can hear anything at all on that, put it on. See if I can. There you go. Now you've got it.
A little bit. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah. You're failing. And by the way, your microphone's not even on. We've done that for the benefit of our audience. The chopping block has been Wacky Wing Week. $3.99 a pound for pre-marinated wings. It's going to be fantastic. Get into the chopping block this weekend. The other day they had $12 fillets on. They were beautiful. Just beautiful, deep red beef. Get in there and get what you want at the chopping block. Allen's Rigger Service, 578-6300. Let Allen be your go-to toe-to. Allen's can help you get from here to there from anywhere. Offices in Refugio, Gonzalez. They're everywhere. If you need Allen's, give them a call. The Dollar Floor Store, whether you want laminate, carpet, the Dollar Floor Store is your home for great flooring value. Get in and see them. And then White Trash Services and White Trash Site Services, 550-1826. Call and talk to a human being. You need trash collection services in the multi-county area around us. You got a little sound there? A little bit? Okay, your mic's still off. We have his microphone off, which is fine with me. It's probably better for the show. He's look, he's still talking as if his mic is on.
You want me to start yelling?
Whoa, there it was. There it was. Whoa, he's back.
Ooh.
There you go. So look, we'll tell you when to speak. Right now, you're on the screen.
Oh.
So there's our own junior samples. Better known
Rob Chris today.
Rob Chris.
We want him to have credibility.
Because he is actually
credibility.
You are actually an expert at what we're talking about.
Well,
I'm not.
I got
silly.
some experience in this.
And we're gonna call. I'm gonna call this gentleman, Parker Holt.
Follow Your Heart on YouTube asks, what's up with the California mother's surrogate case? It won't load up here. Must be in Canada, I'm guessing, because it won't load up there, which means they can't probably get it. I'm guessing this person from Canada. Appreciate you. I'll have to look into that one. I don't know that case, to be honest. I will check into that and we'll get back with you probably Monday, because we're talking Baffin Bay, not Baffin Bay in Canada.
Right.
You
Baffin
want to
Bay
push
down
up
here.
that blue button over there?
There it is.
Hello.
Okay, Junior.
Hello.
Good morning.
Parker Holt. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you guys
This is
doing?
Brent Carter. You're here with me and Ash on the Wade and Carter show live in Victoria. Amazingly enough, we have some analytics that have shown that we've actually had a large increase in listenership on the West Coast. Magic, our local Tejano leader radio station, has an app, and they have shown a spike on their app from 7 to 8 local time in California and Oregon and Washington. So somewhere out there are some leftists that are reforming.
They're listening to find out what you're up to.
And that other voice you hear there, that's Rob. And
How are you doing, sir?
I'll tell you what,
I'm good.
Rob, and I'm going to paraphrase, we don't have time. Rob is kind of the whipping boy of the program, and we don't really have time to get into all of Rob's accolades, but
if they give me crap, just run with it.
He has done projects
In Baff.
for what? Parks and
I'm
Wildlife?
an endangered species monitor for dredging companies.
He goes down and counts birds and
Sea otters.
eats
All that
gummies.
stuff.
Mainly sea turtles, whooping cranes, piping plovers, red knots.
Yeah.
You know, I go down
Illegal
and make sure that the
immigrants.
equipment's not in the way of any kind of endangered species, and we're not going to harm any of them. So
Did he
Tell
say
us-
he eats red hot?
Good for
That's
you.
what I heard.
Yeah.
That's not endangered.
So Parker, you and I have not discussed any of this issue at all. And I want to just give you a second. You were in attendance at the Corpus Christi City Council meeting that I'm assuming dealt, if not exclusively, extensively with this desal plant that's scheduled to go in. Just give us a quick overview of that, and then feel free to share your opinion, and let's get the conversation started.
Okay, great, guys. Well, hey, thanks for the time. Like everything involved with this, it came together pretty quickly, but I believe it's important. And yes, I was at the Corpus Christi City Council meeting Tuesday night in attendance there. The meeting, to your point, there was a couple of major issues that have a little bit of overlap, but it was a packed house, and there was just as much constituency there to support or not support the desal operation as it stands today, as there was another part of the community there to talk about some zoning and how their part of town is being altered, based on industrial use. But so I was there. And, we talked about this via email and text a little bit yesterday. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a biologist. I'm just a concerned user of the resource. And so I can kind of give you the basics as to how I understand it, what's going on, and what's sort of led to this groundswell of opposition. Is that a good place to start?
Yes. I mean,
Absolutely.
to clarify for our audience, we're visiting with Parker Holt. He's in Corpus. No, you're in Austin right now. Am I
Yes,
right?
that's
He's
right.
in Austin
Yep.
right now, but he was at the Corpus Christi City Council meeting. And Parker's a fisherman. He's an outdoorsman. He's a guy that enjoys the fishery that is Baffin Bay. And Baffin has long baffled scientists with like, why is the salinity higher in Baffin Bay? Why? And does that salinity directly affect the size of the trout? It's long known for being a harbor
Extremely large trout.
of extremely large, like ridiculously. All of a sudden,
30-inch
wow,
trout.
huge
And on
trout.
Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, the Port of Corpus Christi approved a 31-acre lease agreement with the Nueces River Authority to build that desalination plant that could produce up to 100 million gallons of fresh water, which everybody says, hey, that's great. But if you're producing 100 gallons of fresh or 100 million gallons of fresh water a day, you got to be pulling 100 million gallons of salt water from somewhere, don't you?
Yeah, and apparently it's a 3/4 proposition. So if you pull 100 million gallons, 25 million gallons of kind of brackish, briny water are having to be discharged. And apparently the big picture is they want to discharge that water directly into Baffin Bay. So, which would actually increase the salinity of Baffin Bay.
And see, my point is there's other places they can put that are so much better.
So no disagreement there. Let's hear what Parker has to say about being at the meeting. Go ahead, sir.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the time. So just to clarify, you're a little bit off on the numbers, but you've got the basic premise. And one thing that you mentioned is
that sums up this program, Parker. That's we're always around the target and we're firing for effect, but we're not experts.
Well, but you're exactly right. And one thing to clarify, and you're right, the Laguna Madre itself, not just Baffin Bay, not just Alizon Bay, but the Laguna, basically from the causeway to the Port Mansfield jetties is a hypersaline bay system, one of only 5 in the world. It's very unique, and it's a very unique environment and very unique estuary, and particularly in Baffin, tucked back up in the shoreline, there's no water exchange. There's very little tidal movement. There's about the only current that we get in Baffin and in Laguna is wind driven, and so that's a pretty minimal, and barge traffic that pulls a little bit of false current and different things. But it's a closed bay system. So the salinity level is constant. It's not getting inflow and outflow of different water. And so that's why it remains at that saline level. Now, to your point, and if you don't mind, let me correct you a little bit.
Please.
The brine water, let's just call it what it is. It's a waste product. It's waste byproduct from the reverse osmosis system that desalinates salty water. It's less salty. So when they discharge that into a water system that's hypersaline over time, it will decrease the salinity.
Oh, so it's not going to make it saltier. It's actually coming out of
it less saltier.
Okay, which we don't know. Do we know what that effect would be? We don't know what that effect would be.
Well, they'll take the salt and throw it off. The crystals, they'll probably make a big salt pile like they do the sulfur over in Galveston.
Okay, so is the concern, Parker, for guys like you and fishermen or people that take care of the resource, is the concern that we're not 100% sure of the role salinity plays in the fishery, and at the same time, if we dilute the salinity, we also don't know what the overall outcome or the effect will be on the fishery. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's basically an experiment. This is untested. It hasn't been, and let me just back up. I'll give you a little timeline of how this all came to be in current, present tense. But yeah, it's an experiment. The way that they're looking to the Seven Seas Corporation, which is a foreign company, private equity backed, founded by Sir Richard Branson, multi-billionaire, all that good stuff. they just want to come in here and desal water, but they've got to do something with the byproduct or the waste product of the desalination process. So let me speak to the numbers a little bit. You mentioned 100 million gallons. While that may be production levels at some plants, the desal plant that we're talking about would, at full capacity, would run about, would process through reverse osmosis about 30 million gallons per day. So they're going to pull in 30 million gallons of salt water, run their process on it. The yield, as far as potable or fresh or desalinated water, is going to be about 20 million of the 30. And the waste that they're going to have to dispose of is the remaining 10 million, right? So
Okay.
what they're talking about doing is they're like, okay, we're going to have 20 million that we get to pipe off to the people that we're selling it to. And fun fact, only about 4 of those 20 million gallons is going to residential or community use. The rest is they're selling to industrial applications. So very little of it is going to go to the residents of Corpus and Nueces County.
Which is currently in Corpus in stage 3 water restrictions.
Right.
Right.
And they're getting a lot of our water from Texana Lake.
Yeah, they own up here between Victoria and say, I don't know, Ganado. There's a lake called Lake Texana, and it's the Nueces and the Navidad and river dammed up, and the city of Corpus Christi owns like the top 3 feet of that lake. So
right
at any given point, there's a huge pipe.
Well, Parker, I'm looking at a couple of different stories here, and the one that was reported on by Chris TV out of Corpus on Tuesday night says that the plant's capable of producing up to 100 million gallons of fresh water. Then last fall, in ENR Texas and Southeast, which is an engineering magazine, they said that the plant's capacity is about 30 million gallons per day. But in that story, they said they were going to draw money or the water and the discharge into the shipping channel.
Right.
Well,
that's what I heard.
You've got 2 different desal operations here. There's one in the harbor.
Okay.
And then there's this one that we're talking about that would drain their waste product into Baffin, which is the Alice facility. So
okay, I did not realize there were 2 different products or projects.
Well, 2 different.
Okay.
Why can't we just run a pipeline on across Baffin Bay and out into the Gulf? And I mean, I realize it would cost more money.
There you go.
But why can't we just discharge it into the much bigger Gulf of America?
That's the way to appropriately handle it.
Well,
but
in fact,
here's the.
I'm sorry, but I think that the plant needs to be put on the highway between Mustang Island and Corpus Christi. On that highway right there, there's a natural cut that's already there. There's plenty of land mass. There's not a lot of developed properties there, and it's out of the way. Go ahead.
The plant's almost done. The plant's already built.
See that now? And that interesting.
Yeah,
they kind of sneak it in there, don't they? They just kind of build it. And
let me give you the timeline, and this is why this has sprung up and gone so viral and been such a big issue, and been frankly very controversial. So, South Texas Water Authority executed a contract with the Seven Seas Corporation, who's in the desal business, to build a plant, and they signed off on that contract with a full scope of work from the day we break ground all the way till the day we're functional and how we're going to dispose of our waste. They signed that contract with no public input, no oversight, no due diligence, no environmental impact studies, no nothing in August of 2024.
So have they been building this on a site that they didn't have a lease agreement for the 31 acres, or am I confusing the 2 projects again?
That I don't know the answer to that, but what I do know is that South Texas Water and Seven Seas signed this contract in August, a year ago, basically. I mean, August of 2024. I mean, I don't want to be too derogatory, but in a backroom deal with no public input.
It sounds so much like Corpus Christi too, by the way.
Well, yeah, I'm learning that as we go, and it was quite telling to sit in that long meeting and just watch the demeanor and the faces of the council members. Some of them looked very disinterested. They would rather probably have been at a dentist appointment than be sitting there listening to their constituents. Right. Some of them were a little bit engaged. I was pretty impressed with the mayor. She at least acted like she, was engaged and open. But look, here's the thing. They signed this contract back then a year ago. They've built the plant. I mean, I drove by it on my way to Port Mansfield last week. It sits on literally almost on the banks of Petronius Creek. Petronius Creek runs right into the back end of Baffin Bay. So the least expensive way to discharge their waste is to run a pipeline and let it run right into the creek. I mean, I think their opinion is it's just salt water, and we're running it right down the creek that's already brackish to begin with, and it's going to run right into some more salt water.
But creeks aren't salty. The brackish means there's some fresh water in there as well. You're going to completely destroy that creek from the point of that discharge pipe going south.
But to give it relativity, it's really no different than back in the day. My dad was employed for almost 40 years at the South Texas Electric Co-op. And back in the day, they used to just have an inlet off the Guadalupe River, and they pumped water in to cool the plant, and then they turn around and pump the water back out. And the EPA came in and said, hey, you're putting the water back in X number of degrees hotter than it came out, and it could affect the ecosystem. And the power plant had to create a big cooling yard where they basically blew it up like you would almost like you would a septic system. Right. You blow the water up into the air, let it cool back down to normal temperature, and then you pump it back into the river. This seems to be that similar type situation. And what troubles me about it the most, Parker, is that it's almost like they're saying it's in the middle of nowhere. Who cares?
Right.
And it's the most important fishery in the state of Texas.
Well, not only that, we have evidence and history of messing with ecosystems because they closed Rollover Pass over by on the east side of Galveston. And I'm curious to see how that affected the oysters and the fishing in that bay, because that was a natural cut, and they closed it simply because it was costing so much money to dredge that section of the intercoastal. So they closed it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
there's,
we have a study right there.
Yeah. And if you think about where Baffin sits, if you can just picture a map, I mean, the only open passes, and right now is the East Cut in Port Mansfield. That's 85, give or take, miles south.
Yeah.
And then Aransas Pass, Aransas Pass, which is 30-ish miles to the north. So Baffin Bay is a closed bay system with a very high saline content that, from everything that I understand from an amateur's point of view, leads to more efficient nutrient processes by not only speckled trout, but all the, fish and shrimp and everything that lives in there. So it's an extremely healthy bay system that's very efficient. It takes care of itself. And, one of the very first speaker in front of the council, I don't know who it was. She had some slide decks and, made a pretty impassioned plea to not get in the way of the desal discharge, and it's no big deal. And her point was 10 million gallons compared to Baffin Bay is a thimbleful. Her words exactly. Okay, well,
every day,
gallons,
every day.
That's right. And if you take a 5-gallon bucket of clean water and you walk by it every day and use an eyedropper and put a drop of red paint in it, eventually you're going to have red water.
That's right.
Because it's every single day. And those plants don't make money when they're not operational and running.
And obviously it's pretty evident too that if Baffin is has such high saline levels, it's not washing out and filling back in.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. So
there's only one or two exits to the Gulf.
So I mean it is
right.
Yeah.
So have people made the plea to simply move the discharge further, east, if you will, and out into the Gulf?
Well, there's a few, they have made that plea, and I think that the basis or kind of the foundation of our position is, or my position and many people that I know, is that we're not against desalination.
Right.
Everybody knows that Corpus Christi's in water crisis. Everybody knows that all the industry around there has got to have water to function. And, we're not against desal, but when you start talking about running 10 million gallons every day of industrial waste down a creek right into the back of Baffin, eventually you're going to kill it. It's not, and so I'm looking at some notes here. So here's some alternatives to just dumping it in Petroneus Creek and let it run right down, into Baffin. They can pipe it offshore. Just so you know, to be effective, the pipe's got to spit the water out the other end about 3 to 5 miles offshore. So we're talking about a serious stretch of pipe, right? But that is the preferred method. That if we're going to pull groundwater that's salty, we're going to reverse osmosis it, desal it. We've got to pipe that off to a bigger, obviously, body of water, but it's 3 to 5 miles offshore.
Well, that's not an issue though. Dredge pumps can pump 5 miles.
Well, it's like Torrin Bales has family in Corpus. He says if Corpus can run a pipeline from Corpus to Lake Texana, which is 90 miles, they should be able to run a pipeline to properly dispose of the wastewater.
Great idea. Great.
Yeah. So that's the solution here. To bypass, if you will, Baffin Bay and run it out to the Gulf where it belongs. You can also do deep well injection. There's a lot of well bores out there where they can say, okay, we're going to take this and we're going to just put it right back down in the ground where it came from, down another bore, a well bore, they can recycle the brine back into the layers that it came from by using that. They can do wetland creation. There's a lot of things that they can do with that byproduct of the desalination rather than just let it run into Baffin Bay. And, that's the situation here.
Although, sorry, Parker, if we pump this stuff into the wells, do we end up with the problem they've got in West Texas where all these lakes are popping up out of nowhere because that's all they've been doing for 60 years is pumping wastewater into wells.
Pumping it back out to the ocean.
I've got a suggestion, Parker. I don't know if there's no reason for you to be up to speed on this, but we've had some aqua challenges here in Victoria. They could just pump it here. We could drink it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, our city's water has been under attack.
I agree with you. And now here's something that I saw the other day. I'm not a fan of Neil deGrasse because I'm still irritated for him pulling Pluto out of the system. But he told a group of people that desal is not efficient enough. We haven't got a grasp on the technology well enough that it's efficient. So why are we putting all this money into desal right now? So
good question.
The science.
But I will say this: at least it's private.
Yeah.
Private investment rather than the government coming in and trying to create a market that doesn't exist.
Probably powered by a wind farm. So we've got
maybe
right. So have you ever had
what's the economic impact of fishing and to the Corpus Christi region? Because I'm curious as to how big this would be an impact in Baffin. Like, do we know what Baffin Bay alone brings into the Corpus Christi area on an annual basis?
Well, look, I don't know the answer to that, but it's
Parker, Roy's bait and tackle alone.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, I know.
Just Roy's alone,
Oh, I know.
Have you ever met our buddy Chad Pederick? Do you know Chad?
I know Chad.
Oh, I know Chad. Yeah, you bet.
And we reached out to him. He's on the bay this morning, and he was just like, "No, this is a bad idea." And here's the deal. In general, I'm not a tree hugger. I mean, I am the guy that goes red darter. I don't care about the red darter. Let's build the power plant.
Yeah.
But in this case, this is akin to me of somebody deciding they're going to have a wastewater treatment plant and just dump it into the Florida Keys. I mean, this is Texas' most notable fishery. People come from all over the globe to fish in Baffin Bay. And the idea I get it that there's no big town there. It's not really.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I have fished all the way from Port Mansfield all the way to Galveston. Baffin Bay is the best fishing I've ever had in the state of Texas. But I will not put my boat in that bay, because if you don't know that bay, you'll end up on.
And right, Parker, that's even better, right? The people that don't know kind of stay out of there. Me personally, the best place I've ever fished was Mansfield. I love going to Port Mansfield, but
we're visiting with Parker Holt, and Rob Christ is in studio. For those of you listening on Magic, those are the other two voices you're hearing right now.
Right.
Everybody knows my voice.
Parker.
Let me,
and they're still listening.
Yeah, just so you know, Robert is a kind of our resident ne'er-do-well. He's a good guy, but he's not a great guy, but he's a good guy. and we have him on occasionally just for
comedic relief.
What it does is it allows our audience to more greatly appreciate Ash and me, because if you listen to Rob for a while, you're like, God, could we just?
They put me on to make themselves.
Yeah, we just want to listen to Brent Nash. Yeah. So what do you think the outcome is going to be, and what do you suggest? What can our listeners do that want to be involved in trying to do something? I mean, I think everybody's kind of got.
Yeah. So great question. There's a petition that was started yesterday. I think it went up online 14 hours ago, give or take. My friend Taylor Garcia put a petition together. We've got just short of 600 signatures on it already. I would encourage people to go and find that petition. I can send you guys a link to it.
Please.
There's email addresses for the Corpus Christi City Council, the mayor, and look, again, nobody, I live in Austin. I don't admit it freely, but I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not a tree hugger either. I'm not,
right.
Every now and then I'll catch a little bit of shade. Oh, you're just from Austin. That's how Austin, no, that's not it. I mean, I'm from the Texas Panhandle, small town conservative. I spend as much time down there in your part of the world as I can. And we just care about the resource. We care about the fishery and everything. And you asked about the economic impact. You mentioned Royce, Rocky from Royce got up and really made a good presentation for his point. The economic impact of a healthy fishery is vast. And you talk about hotel revenue, gasoline, grocery stores, restaurants.
Absolutely.
Everything that is in the orbit of a healthy fishery is substantial. And I pay taxes in Nueces County. I live in District 4. I own a home in District 4. We all have a say in this. And we have historically had, and especially trout fishermen, which is what I target, is speckled trout, trophy class, big trout. We're never going to agree on the method. We're never going to agree on the limits. We're never going to agree on a lot of things around the trout fishery. But we agree wholeheartedly that Baffin Bay does not need a fix. And some of the proponents of this position say, this, Seven Seas, even in some public press commentary, has said, oh no, we're going to do a great favor, a great service to Baffin Bay. We're going to refresh it with less salinity and make it health. And no, you're not. And stay out of Baffin Bay, pipe it offshore, do the right thing. The word is out. This has been exposed now. And so it's time for the city council or any other decision makers to say, all right, we got to figure this out, because we're not going to risk disrupting such a special place as Baffin Bay, the economy that surrounds it, by destroying it. And, that would eventually happen. I'm afraid. It's an experiment. And you mentioned Florida. The sugar industry tried to do this exact same thing with sugar processing that would discharge into the Everglades. And, they've been tied up in litigation in the courts now for a couple of years. And you try this stuff in Florida, you try this stuff in Montana, you try this stuff where they understand the economics behind their fishery, you're going to be up against a serious amount of pushback and litigation.
Just one of our listeners, Trey Molina, says, thanks for informing us, Parker. I'll sign today.
He lives in Corpus.
Okay.
The idea to me is Baffin almost takes on like a mythical status. You have people say, well, we're going fishing, so closest to us is Port O'Connor. It's just right down the road, less than an hour. And it's like, oh, we're going fishing this weekend. Oh, really? What, we're just going down to Port O'Connor? No, we're going to Baffin. And people go, oh, big trip. Yeah, it's a big trip. And there's a whole bunch of, catch and release down there. And I'm very concerned. That's why we wanted to have you on. And I really appreciate your time on this.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much.
What God creates, man will destroy every turn of the hat.
Yeah.
Never fails.
Amen.
We will screw it up, and we think we know better. God set that Baffin Bay, and it's doing great as it is. Why do we think that we are smarter and wiser than our creator?
Because we're man.
Because we are
Right.
man.
Yeah.
Human,
Leave it
I should
alone.
say.
You
Yeah.
man.
There you go. Stephanie
Leave
Cohen
it
says,
alone.
I'll sign too, Parker. Thank you. Glad y'all could do this. So I tell you what, we won't keep you any longer today, but I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I encourage people. Is there a link? Do you have it in your head where we can go to find the petition?
They set it up on the change.org platform, which I'm sure there's a jillion petitions on that platform, but we've got a text interchange. I'll pull it up and send it to you or tag you or whatever. It came to light due to social media. And like I said, this was a backroom in the shadows deal until it wasn't. And so now it's been exposed. Now is the time that we have the opportunity to stand up, do what we believe is right, and try to protect Baffin Bay, such a special place. And let me also say, the Laguna Madre, not just Baffin, the whole Laguna. And anyway, I appreciate the time, fellas.
Well, we appreciate you. You and I'll catch up again. I feel like I've made a friend here, and you and I will talk later today.
10-4, buddy.
I appreciate
you
you,
guys have a
Parker.
great day.
Yeah.
Go get out,
man.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
You know what's really sad with this? Thanks, Parker. Appreciate the call.
Parker Holt calling.
And
from-
Rob, thank you
from
for your
Austin.
input. You know what's really sad?
Rob.
If there would have been a proposal to put a casino in that proximity, people would have been up in arms.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But now it's like, it's just, and there's a lot of people that if you're not a fisherman or you don't know a fisherman, which is hard to imagine in this region, but you would just say, oh, who cares? Just salt water, just pump it back in. It's no big deal. Folks, Went Services, Went Electrical for all your generator needs, turnkey generator service. Reach out to Went today. Let Aaron Went and his team come out and give you a quote to put a whole house generator right here in the middle of storm season. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com. Atzenhofer is your home for a new Chevrolet or a gently pre-owned vehicle. They service all makes and models. Atzenhofer since 1926.
99 years, folks.
Victoria's dealership. Reach out to Tommy Taylor today. Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Get in there this weekend and see why you just always do better at Chesnick. Bobby Leon and his team, family, been serving you and yours for generations. For well over 100 years. Parvita Wellness inviting you to come to the Vita Cafe this weekend,
Saturday
for
and Sunday,
brunch.
brunch starting at 8:00 in the morning, and they run it, and then you can get a lunch menu too around lunch. If you don't want brunch, you can have lunch.
Vita Cafe, great. Lisa Poole's already in line over at Parvita Wellness
She's already
to try to get the discounted meals. So, Astros update, we already gave you. First State Bank of Louise.
Stop buying
Astros
little bank
playing
anywhere. Dollar floor store, 99
Mariners.
cents. They've
I
got
already did
flooring.
that too.
Oh, you did that one. I missed that one.
$1 a holler, baby.
There we go.
So let's get in here and look at you got some applause over there.
I've
It's in his
got the
contract.
applause.
It's in his contract.
And he's got a banner now.
Brother Gary Moses right there.
We have you on at Magic. When I get there early, we're watching y'all over there.
Oh man,
Sure, we got y'all on the
some
big screen.
Big
in there.
heads on the big
Mhm.
screen.
Yeah,
How are you, sir? What's
I'm
been
good,
happening?
sir. Great week. It's been really busy. A lot of good things are happening. Of course, Texas A&M University, Victoria. Do you like the new banner, Ash?
Yeah, our athletic logo looks good.
I didn't
You
see
seen
it. I haven't seen it.
Smaller letters, Texas A&M University.
They have to get all that on there. You say
Yeah.
U of H
And
Victoria.
then you put Victoria big right below it.
I like it.
Right there. Show that right there. It is right there.
Oh, that's nice.
And we were down there. Ash, I saw the T-shirts. He threw out some T-shirts.
I
What
didn't.
did
My student athlete.
Did
The
you
student
ever-
athlete said, well, you brought them.
Brother, did you have one of those?
I
One
just
of
brought-
those guys like,
I didn't bring out the
Orbit?
T-shirt cannon because that would have taken people's heads off. In
I
that
have
small
Oh, I want to
space.
see that.
you have one?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So what did it say
we
on
need
the
it.
shirt?
It's got our athletic logo on it. A&M Victoria
Just A&M. It
Jaguars.
doesn't say Texas. It just says A&M Victoria.
That's all you got to
on
say.
there. That's all you
right
got to
there.
say. They know that.
They know.
right there.
They know what it is.
Glenn Hager story. We had him
And
down
actually,
here.
Schulenberg Printing donated the shirts.
That's
I didn't
very
have to
nice.
Buy them, even better.
Yes, sir. No, yeah. What money? Glenn
Right.
Hager story. I went up to him, talked to him. He was here at state comptroller, right? Back in the
Right.
day. We
Our
had him,
senator for a long
senator
time.
for a while too. And we had him down here. He was our guest speaker at Stock Show Parade years ago. And he was on the stage and said, just get a seat over there, sit down. You watch the parade from here, and then we're going to bring you up here to speak. So he came up, he looked at me, he winked at me. I said, how you recognize this face? You don't, but anyway, you were with me back then. He said,
He's
I
a
like
nice
Victoria.
man.
Nice
Very,
guy.
very,
I
very
like him.
smart guy. A lot of recall. He can just bring up
I
numbers.
like him. Yeah, I remember him from back then. Good guy.
Good
So
guy.
we wish him all the best. I want to ask you now, those boys that got picked for the MLB draft, how many play for University of Houston? One of them. Just
Ray
one.
said there were
Four.
several generals too. That got
Several
picked.
generals, one from East High School. Wasn't that the Parker boy?
That's our boy. Too.
That's your
Yeah.
boy too.
Yeah.
He was UHV
Yeah.
too. That was the one. So good stuff there. All right, let me test you.
Tell us.
Right, you ready?
We're ready.
SEC. I got two things. SEC.
Texas wins it.
Out of 100%, they let people vote on, the coaches and everybody voted. 37% said this team would win the SEC. Which team they picked?
Oh, they picked Texas.
Texas, number one. 27% said the next team. Who would that be?
Georgia.
Correct, sir. Third, perennial. Third at 17% was
LSU.
Alabama.
Alabama.
And the
LSU
reason
was
is
fourth.
they just when in doubt, go with Alabama.
17 was Alabama. All right, TJ Watt. How about that?
Man, did you see that deal?
Yeah.
Sign that guy for like $45 million a year. So he's a
$123
defensive
million.
player.
Most paid contract for a
Get out, right? Come here.
Now,
For a
baby.
non-quarterback, right?
For a non-quarterback, the highest ever.
And I don't think he's as good as his brother was.
And his brother, total amount of money he got was $129 million in all his years. TJ gets 123 for the 3-year period, right
Is
there.
there another
Oh,
Watt? Is there another Watt brother coming up somewhere?
I thought it'd be,
I don't think there
if
is.
they can make that money,
Yeah.
if they can make that
That's
kind of
a
money.
Well, I mean, there's some football lineage there, but I
There
still
really is. Yeah, good stuff.
I
right
still
there.
think JJ was better than his brother.
I thought JJ was great too, but a Steeler, and so he's going to make some money. Anyway, a lot of good sports going on.
This is where being the baby brother pays off because you're making more than the big brother,
Right.
and Brent, my deepest sympathy to lost that buddy. I mean,
Yeah.
that hurt me coming down. I was listening. I had to text you right then and
I
there.
want to tell you, brother, we're going to work on a statute of types. So there's no, the city has ordinance regarding just free roaming
Yes, sir.
dogs and
Yes,
all
sir.
that, but the city does not have. There's nothing, excuse me, in place for animal on animal violence. So
Yes, sir.
even though these two dogs knocked down my fence, came in, killed my dog in
Ooh.
my backyard,
Mm.
there's no recourse unless I want to take this clown to like
Civil
court, which I'm just not going to do it. But
This hurts.
we will be working on having a statute put in place that allows the city to fine people heavily.
Well,
I want
yeah,
them to be,
man.
it's like it needs to be incumbent upon you to
I don't
keep your
blame-
pet in your yard.
I think that's right. I
And,
think that's correct.
I will work on that.
And we love
diligently.
animals, but that's
Absolutely.
past that point.
Yeah. It's just, it's crazy.
past it.
So we're going to
Before Junior gets out of here, Patrick Strauss says listening to him makes him want to get up and go visit another distillery.
Nice.
He brings the best out of everybody, doesn't he? I love it.
You are a
And bingo
motivator.
next week. Everybody be out there
Thursday night, yes,
Thursday
sir.
night.
Thursday
love it.
night. I know you'll make a flyby and say
I'll
hi
come.
to everybody.
You better.
I want
Hey,
I want
you
50
know it.
people there.
You going to do your show today with Ralph?
Yes, I'm going down there. We have you. I like it. We put you on the screen. Look at those boys. They're good looking boys.
Yeah. So
Those good looking boys right there.
stay tuned to Magic 95.9. Listen to the Brother Man and
Yes, sir.
Ralph Salazar, the Hall of Famer. Listen to him and it's about time for us to get out of here,
It
buddy.
is about time for us to get
Thank
out of here.
y'all.
So I guess
Well,
we'll get
we
out of here.
appreciate you, brother, and
Love you, brother.
I hope you have a great weekend.
Y'all too.
And we will talk to you guys on Monday. Bye, folks.